types of corrosion cells. There are 3 types of corrosion cells: dissimilar electrode cells, concentration cells, and differential temperature cells. Dissimilar electrode cells. Dissimilar electrode cells may be formed when 2 metals differing in potential are in contact with an electrolyte. For example, zinc and copper electrodes immersed in an electrolyte represents a dissimilar electrode cell. The more active zinc acts as an anode, and the less reactive metal copper acts as a cathode. Electrons flow from zinc anode to copper cathode in the electrolyte. The intensity of the corrosion depends on the position of the metal in the electrochemical series. The driving force behind a corrosion cell is a potential or voltage difference between the anode and cathode. The voltage or potential difference in an electrochemical cell causes electron to flow from the higher electrode potential to the electrode of lower potential. The metal with an electronegative potential acts as the anode, and the other metal acts as cathode. This results in the electromotive force of the cell, which drives the corrosion, that is measured in units of volts. Iron has a more negative potential than copper. So, copper being less active becomes the cathode and iron becomes the anode. Examples: copper pipe connected to steel pipes. Bronze propeller in contact with the steel hull of a ship. Concentration cells. There are 2 kinds of concentration cells. One is salt concentration cell, another is differential aeration cell. Salt concentration cell. A salt concentration cell form when one electrode is in contact with a concentrated solution, and the other electrode with a dilute solution. On short-circuiting, the electrode in contact with the dilute solution will be anodic, and on the other electrode will be cathodic. For example, if one copper electrode is exposed to a concentrated copper sulfate solution, and another to a dilute copper sulfate solution. On short-circuiting the electrodes, copper dissolves from the electrode in contact with the dilute solution, and plates out on the other electrode. These reactions tend to bring the two solutions to the same concentration. So, in a salt concentration cell, the current flows because the cell is created by the difference in the concentration of the electrolyte. In this type of cell, the process equalizes the concentration of salts, causing the current flow to stop and the electrical cell to die. Differential aeration cell, or oxygen concentration cell. This cell develops because of the different level of air in the electrolyte. The difference in oxygen level, due to the variation of aeration, causes the current flow. The part of the metal exposed to higher oxygen concentration becomes cathodic, and the part exposed to lower oxygen concentration becomes anodic. For example, two iron electrodes are connected in an electrochemical cell, having sodium chloride as an electrolyte. One electrode is subjected to oxygen supply, and another electrode to nitrogen. The difference in oxygen concentration produces a potential difference and cause current to flow through the circuit. An oxidation reaction takes place at the electrode, where nitrogen is supplied, while these electrons flow through the circuit and are reduced at the electrode, where there is more oxygen. For example, a steel structure buried in soil. Explanation: lower oxygen concentrations commonly occur at the bottom of a buried steel structure, where the soil is more compact and farther from the source of oxygen in the atmosphere. The lower oxygen environment, in contact with the steel at the bottom of the pipe, can cause this area to become anodic with respect to the steel at the top of the pipe, which is in contact with soil that contains higher levels of oxygen. Corrosion current leaves the steel at the bottom of the pipe, resulting in corrosion at the anodes, and travels through the soil to the top of the pipe, where the cathodic reaction is the reduction of oxygen. Differential temperature cell. Differential temperature cells are formed when electrodes of the same metal, each of which is at a different temperature, are immersed in an electrolyte of the same initial composition. This type of cell is normally unstable. If the two temperatures equalize, then the cell may die. If iron immersed in dilute aerated sodium chloride solutions, the hot electrode is anodic to colder metal of the same composition. But in copper sulfate solution, the copper electrode at the higher temperature is the cathode, and at the lower temperature is the anode. Corrosion in boilers or heat exchangers. If you do like my channel, please subscribe, comment, share the videos to your friends and like them.